Hi y'all, welcome back. I'm Barbie Jean, and today we are talking about the connection between trauma and kink. Every time somebody hears I'm into kinky shit, they often are like, what happened to you that made you this way? And that is just not a good question to follow up with when someone is opening up to you about their kinks and their fetishes. So I'm here to stomp on that connection. I'm here to talk about the correlation between kink and trauma, talk about how trauma can be healed through kink and pleasure, and a lot more. So let's dive in. So I feel like my biggest kink that I have is this group play kink. And I didn't start exploring group play, threesomes, sex parties until I was about 24 years old. But there's these early childhood memories of me being naked and playing house and Barbies, or figuring out ways to take off my pants and sitting and playing with others, as well as playing Operation. But instead of using the game, we were using our bodies. And this was, again, a young childhood age where I do feel like there was this inappropriate feeling, but I also was very turned on by doing it. I was feeling like just laying there, feeling exposed and vulnerable, even though I wasn't naked. We were still touching each other and playing with these little bones and things like that. And so I just know that when you have this specific kink or specific fetish, you are born with that, just like you're born with your sexuality. Now, of course, nature and nurture, I believe in both, and that kind of mold and evolve us into the being that we are. But there's a part of our brain and our bodies that are born the way that they are. And so if you're staying up at night trying to understand why you have this water sport fetish, or why you're so infatuated with feet, whatever it is, I just want you to hug yourself, hug your younger self as well, and just tell yourself that it's okay. You were born this way. Now, that doesn't mean that kinks and fetishes can't evolve as we grow up or get older. I do think that they can shift and blossom. I find that a lot of us that are in that business profession that's very controlling, they have that type A, boss vibes. I find that those people, because they're in such a controlling position of power, they'd like that beauty of dichotomy, and they want in their intimate life to be powerless, to not have to make decisions, to play, like I said, with that beauty of dichotomy. And that is natural. And it's so common. We see it in so many more TV shows like Billions and Succession, where you have those people in power that like to explore the kink of power play and feel that opposing side of the constant vibe that they're in on a day-to-day life. Furthermore, sex is, like I've said in the past, very healing for a lot of us. So through sex and kink, we can heal trauma. So that is the biggest connection that I want to make today as well for you, is to just be aware that there's just this huge power with kink that you can use to cultivate and channel to deal with these psychological traumas. So if you were assaulted, abused, attacked, belittled, humiliated as a young person, or even as an adult, and that has shifted your psychology a little bit, maybe it's made you a little bit more afraid or guarded, it's really beneficial to cultivate that power, create a scene, a consensual scene, a safe scene with your partner, or even with yourself, and just channel and cultivate this power that you've kept inside. We're taught to just keep our emotions inside, the heavy emotions, the negative ones, and we're just told to go to our room or sit in front of the wall, and we often don't know how to feel. And so by using kink, we can kind of use either that pain that's being inflicted on us, whether it's a flogger or a hand spanking us. Sometimes that intensity of that sensation can ignite this feeling within us, and it can be a doorway for us to release heavy emotions, whether it's through tears, whether it's through yelling, or a beautiful climax like that. It can be very transformative if you use this session to your advantage and channel that power or that energy through you and use it to feel for the first time. I can tell you from experience that I have gotten into a really incredible submissive state when I've been flogged or played with fire play. Like, sometimes it just feels very relaxing and meditative, the pain or the pleasure, and that can just be a bit of a healing journey for you as well, if you just needed that time to just like be with your feelings or your body and like not in your head. But it's also rewarding to recognize that there's a lot of endorphins and energy that's released when we're dealing with pain, and that can feel really good. And I'm going to make this analogy to tattoos because I think everybody has tattoos. I don't have any tattoos, but I do know that a lot of people that have them say that it's addictive to get them because it's like, well, you love the way that it makes you look and feel, and it's this artistic element that this creative side of you. Those are all involved in the addiction feeling, but it's also this like pain and these chemicals that are released to deal with that pain. And so I just like to compare this to, bondage or, spanking or flogging, because like getting tattoos can be this exciting and endorphin releasing and incredible experience that you want more of. I feel like these sessions are similar in a way. I find that when you're in this intimate, vulnerable, consensual session with a partner or with a professional, there is all this adrenaline that's releasing. There's all these chemicals in your brain that are firing off because there's these stinging sensations and these pleasures that are happening that maybe you've never experienced before. And so that can just be really rewarding in and of itself. But again, it can be cathartic. It can help you release some of these heavy emotions that you've kept pent up. It can help trigger you to remind you of this psychological trauma that you haven't dealt with. And it can be a way to channel that energy through you, or just become more aware of it and use this sex or this pleasure as a tool to move through that with more awareness and understanding. And so to finish up, I just feel like it's so powerful for you to use kink to cross that emotional threshold and just become more aware and present in your body and in your mind. And this is not a replacement to therapy. I am just super fond of using sex and pleasure as healing mechanisms. I think it just feels really good to do that, to lean into your sexuality and your body to heal yourself and to relieve stress and to release trauma. So again, I feel like there's this powerful correlation between trauma and kink, but I don't think there's a causation there. I think sometimes there is, but often it's just this correlation and this beautiful connection between the two. And I feel like the biggest way that they are able to be connected and linked is through this healing journey. So I hope this helps you. I hope you also don't feel as ashamed for your kinks and your fetishes, because I do think that through my experience and through all the people that I know, which is a shit ton, that have these fetishes that they've kept sheltered or kept private for so long. Like, they remember memories from when they were young, very young, of trying to figure out ways to feel that desire. And so that's okay. That's normal. You're perfect the way that you are. And please reach out to me again if you're ever feeling shame or alone. I'm here to support you. So thanks again for being here. Please do not forget to like my videos, share my videos if you think they would help someone that you know. And I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Talk soon. Mwah.